bloodstream. When I exhale, I get so excited. I exhale tension and toxicity, and that's good for the soul, good for the mind, good for the body. All right, so we're going to do it 3 times. Now what we're adding to this is we're adding some physical movements and some words that we don't speak out loud when we're doing it. We say the words inside of our heads, inside of our hearts, and so that's what the quantum breath is. So it starts with, we do it standing up. You don't have to stand up yet unless you take that. But we stand up with our feet about shoulder width apart. Our knees are not locked, they're unlocked. And then our butt, if you're wondering if it goes backwards or forwards, you make sure it goes back just a smidge. And if you want to know if your butt is in the right position, you simply shake your tail feathers. And what do we call that, my friends? We call that the abundance. Oh, come on, that's funny. We give credit to our DreamLife coach, Rasheen, for that, the abundance. And so our feet are shoulder width apart, our knees are not locked, our butt is back. We do a little abundance. We hold our body then from foot all the way up to shoulders in a strong posture. What we keep loose is our hands, so we're good and straight. Our torso is straight, so we can allow all the energy to flow to us and through us. And yes, we're going to talk about chakras, and not right now, but we will be. And so we have the loving energy flow to us and through us. And then what else? Oh, and then we get into the breaths and the movement. So that's the physiology. The first movement is we just loosen up our arms, and then we do the first inhale, and we go. And when we put our arms out like this, we have our palms facing forward. You can see me, no, wrong way, this way. There you go. See, you have your palms facing forward, and your hands wide open like that. So it's wide open, palms forward, and we've taken that first big, huge inhale. While we do that, as we're inhaling, we say in our heads and our hearts, we say, I am present. So, I am present. Then when we exhale, into prayer posture, as we exhale and bring our hands together, we say in our minds, I am centered. Okay, I am present, I am centered. So that was the first inhale, exhale. The next inhale, we put our hands straight up into a V. And we have our hands straight up over, straight, up over our heads as we've inhaled big, and we say, I am open to love. And so for some of you who might be Christians, you might say, I'm open to the Holy Spirit, or I'm open to God's love, or love energy, or whatever your term is. But I'm open to love. So we had done, I'm present, I'm centered, I'm open to love. And we hold that, and this is where for sure you're seeing those sparklies coming into your body. I'm open to love. It's a great feeling. And then when you exhale, back to prayer posture, we say, I become love. And for those who are curious what that means, it means I am abundant. The term, when Jesus says, I have come that you might have life and life more abundantly, what he was saying, the term is Zoe river. It's Zoe, and it's like a river being shoved in, like you're being fed with a fire hose with blessings and abundance and love. And the term abundant means more than you can contain, which means you're overflowing, the cup that overfloweth. And so when people look at you, they see love. So when people look at you, all they see is love. Isn't that beautiful? So that's what the wisdom literature means by that. We become love. So again, I'm present, I'm centered, I'm open to love, I become love. Now, for the third breath, we inhale deeply and we put our hands back out to the first posture, and what we're saying is, I share love. So from here, we go, and inside we're saying, I share love. And we open our hands as wide as possible, and we just share love. And we just feel that as we inhale deeply, we're holding it, and then we release all tension in our arms as we exhale. And we let our arms fall to the side, and then we calmly bring them back to prayer posture, and we end with the words, thank you. Okay? If you will do this, you will watch your life transform. In less than 20 seconds, you can get yourself out of any state into peak spiritual state. So again, here's the movements. I inhale, I am present. Exhale, I am centered. Inhale, I am open to love. Exhale, I become love. I share love. Thank you. Beautiful. So this is called the quantum breath. It is very, very good for you. Very, very good for you. So good for the heart, good for the soul, good for the mind, good for the body. Don Pett, can I get an amen? Even Don Pett agrees. Hey, Pett agrees. That's a great, I never thought of that. Don Pett agrees. All right, so back to work. So this is called the quantum breath. It's a micro meditation. In less than 20 seconds, you can take yourself from anywhere to peak state with calm, confidence, safe strength, and pure motivation, because you are bringing love into the planet. And the number one question we always want to remember is, how do I best bring love into this moment? That is the question for all of the days of your life. Every second, every moment, if you're asking that question, your life is miraculous. How can I best bring love into this moment? That's the one question that changes the world. Always ask that question, and you're always saying, always as often as possible, everything is perfect, everything is improving. How can I best bring love into this moment? Change the world. Okay, so that's the quantum breath. I'll show you it on the screen. You have it in your workbook. Number one, inhale, I am present. Exhale, I am centered. Inhale, I am open to love. Exhale, I become love. Inhale, I share love. Exhale, thank you. Good and good? All right. You ready to do it with me? Who's willing to get up? Who's willing to stand up? Able to stand up? If you've been into the vodka, don't stand up. You might fall down. Okay, so stand up if you can, if you will. It's not obligatory. We're not sending the quantum breath police to your house. We love you no matter what. If you will stand up and do this with me, it will help you to lock it in. You do this for 1 week or less, and you'll find the ability to get yourself into peak state and reconnect to the source anywhere, anytime, even without going through all the motions. Just 3 breaths can get you back there. But when we combine the physical motions and the words and the breaths, we drive it and we change our lives. So here we go. We're going to do it together. First, let's just walk through it together. So you're standing, feet about shoulder width apart, knees are bent, they're not locked. Your butt is back a little bit. You do the abundant dance. Now you know you're in the right physiology. You make sure that your body is straight and strong. You then loosen up your arms, and we're going to take the first inhale and say, I'm present. I am present. Okay? Then we exhale into the center. Then we say, I am centered. Then we inhale big up in love. I am open to love. Exhale. I become love. Wide open. I share love. Then we release. Thank you. Okay? Now we're going to do it for reals, and this time I won't say the words, okay? Just listen for my breaths and follow the quantum breath with me and say in your mind, right, inside silently, I am present, I am centered. I am open to love, I become love, I share love, and thank you. Here we go. We're going to do this together. This is fun. In 3, 2, 1. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Give yourself a big hand. Well played. Well played. All right. So who had a head rush doing that? Anyone get a little wooey? I want you to know there's something that there's some embedded things. I'm going to give you 2 advanced things on it. Who wants some advanced insights to the quantum breath? 2 advanced insights. One of them is this. When we put our hands up over our head, you might see this in some church services. Have you ever seen people do this in church services? They got their hands up over their head. You see this not just in church services, but rock concerts. Everyone's like, yeah, right, hands up over their head. Well, when it comes to the spiritual implications of this, when people are doing this, if you want to know the history of it, the historicity of it is people putting their hands up like a child saying, "Pick me up, Daddy." Isn't that cool? So this is I want love from divine, just like a little child putting their hands up over their head saying, "Pick me up and hug me and tell me you'll love me." And so there's something about that physiology that says I'm open to love that has deep spiritual heritage. So that's pretty cool. The other thing I want you to become aware of is when we say I am present, we are becoming connected to the now, right? Present peace. And the easiest path to the spiritual realm is to get in touch with now. And to be in touch with now, the easiest thing in the universe is your own physical body. Because your physical body is trapped in this time-space continuum. You are in this time spectrum. And your body is always now. So if you want to find now, just get in tune with your body. Does that make sense now? If you want to get to now, get in tune with your physical body, because it's only and always now. So when I say I am present, it's getting connected to the now. And your body is a spiritual antenna, so it's very valuable to learn body awareness. Then when I say I'm centered, I want you to know that what we're inferring on a deeper level is I'm dead center in divine will. I'm not ahead of schedule, I'm not behind schedule. I'm not to the left or to the right, I'm dead center of perfect divine will. Divine's good, pleasing, and perfect will. I'm living on purpose and I am on schedule. So when we say I'm centered, we're actually saying a lot. Isn't this great? So there's a lot more meaning when we get deeper and deeper into things like the quantum breath, but now you've had a beautiful introduction to it, and I'm very excited. Beautiful. Jay, I see a question. Can someone help Jay unmute? Jay, we're undecided whether we want to unmute you. Oh, you were unmuted for a millisecond. There we are. Yeah. I'm really glad. I might be able to answer it, but I haven't figured out what the question is. So you're saying that you have frustration because the exhale is, quote unquote, supposed to be peace, and yet there's something that seems like I'm saying 2 different things. So help me understand what appears to be conflict. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, agreed. Yep. Oh. Okay, let's think about it this way, Jay. Let's think of it as there's a cup, a big cup in the center of your chest, all right? And it's either filled with tension or it's filled with the positivity and love. And when we're exhaling the toxicity and tension, it is naturally infilled with that positivity and love. So you don't have to work on filling it with the positivity and love. When you exhale tension and toxicity, what is natural comes back into the place where it belongs. And so there's no effort of becoming love, no effort of becoming centered or anything. There's no effort involved. It's when I get rid of the tension and toxicity, the natural state reappears. And so it's one motion, not two. And all you're doing is releasing tension, toxicity, and being grateful that the truths of love and centeredness are just back to normal. All right, let's give it up for Jay. I really appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Steve, is it only men are allowed to ask questions this afternoon? What is going on? The men are so outnumbered, they have to work hard to let the women know they're here. All right, Steve, hey man. Uh-huh. Yep. Hmm. Hmm. Sure, sure. So I've never heard of the angels surrounding you and sitting on or landing on your hand and therefore your prayer being answered. That's all new information to me. So what I'm saying is divine love directly is always seeking to say yes and amen to the highest and best. Always and only yes to the highest and best. So we're not convincing anything. So whether we're holding our hands this way or that way, it's an issue of the heart saying, I'm open to the highest and best blessing. And the prayer and the meditations and the exercises are merely physical demonstrations of that openness of our heart. So how you hold your hands will not get in the way of divine saying, his hand is totally bent the wrong way, I'm not going to give him a miracle. Like there's no angle from divine in that sense, in my understanding. So the physicality to get precision is great for our own consistency and our own understanding of what that means for us. But I would say, number one, do not allow, I would encourage you to resist any temptation to worry about perfection and look for how can I be most accurate and efficient just out of love. But let's say I said to God today, please give me a red bicycle. Please give me a red bicycle. And God says, aren't you cute? I know you want a blue Bentley. And he gives me a blue Bentley. He's not mad at me for saying it wrong. He says, isn't he cute? He came to me and I'm going to reward him. So divine will clean up anything we get wrong, if there is a wrong in it. And I personally don't put a lot of pressure on it. I'm very precise in the physiology that I teach, but only because I love precision. And I wouldn't say that any imperfection would affect your experience with divine, because divine's bigger than that. But I am very precise. When I put my hands out like this, it's very like a ballet dancer up to here, and then lock on palms forward. Then when I bring them together, it's straight up and straight down. My attempt is to be very graceful. And then from here, straight up into a V, into my hands over my head. My hands are kind of like this. Not really like this, but more like this. More like a pick-me-up daddy, right? That's the physiology I use. And then when I bring it down, I seek to bring it back down in a very perfect V shape. And then when I open it up, I move my hands straight out because I'm giving, and then back out to palms forward. And then when I release, it's total release of all tension, and I end with a thank you. So I do precision, Steve, not because I believe divine requires supervision or perfection. I simply seek to be consistent and perfect because that's just the kind of guy I am. But I would say if there's any thought about, oh, is this the right way or the wrong way, I would say the only thing wrong is thinking there's a wrong way. Everything's cool, and I love it that way. Does that help, sir? Mm-hmm. I love it. Give it up, Steve. I love it, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. So it is 3 o'clock now. I'm okay. I'm ready to get going forward. Are you okay with me? So that is closure of meditation number 1. We're going to move into meditation number 2. It's 3 o'clock Toronto time. And we're going to move into meditation 2. Oh, that's an old one. Your dream life is manifesting as soon as perfect. So I'm going to encourage you to write this down and remember. We have this thing of trying to demand timelines. And in the spirit world, divine doesn't dig demands and deadlines. What I would encourage you to do is pray as soon as perfect, not as soon as possible. Because with divine, everything is possible. Divine could end the world or restart the world or turn us all into ducks. Divine can do anything. So we're not seeking what's possible, we're seeking what's perfect. So as soon as perfect is the new meaning of ASAP. Not as soon as possible, but as soon as perfect. And it helps us know that everything's in perfect timing and we can relax. We can breathe. Oh, I was going to talk about the 12-month. I'm going to do that now. Hold on just a moment. I'd rather get into the next lesson and end with this. Hold on just a moment, everyone. I'm going to come back to that. But I want to move on to number 2. Meditation 2. Here we go. I found it. Thanks for your patience. So now we're going to jump to light speed. In the spirit world, I want you to know that time is not a problem. We just finished saying as soon as perfect. So as soon as perfect might be faster than you think or quote unquote slower than you think. Miracles are often time miracles. There's a story of Jesus calming the storm, right? He was in a boat and he was asleep. He was chill. And his disciples were freaking out because there was a storm and they were going to die, you know. And so they're like, Master, wake up. You've got to save us from the storm. And he's like, wow, okay. And just turned to the storm and he said, stop it. And it stopped. Right? Just instantly. The wind stopped, the rain stopped, the water calmed down. Like glass. And they're like, this is an incredible miracle. Well, do you understand that eventually the storm would calm itself? Do you understand that storms aren't forever? So the miracle isn't that a storm stopped. The miracle was in the speed. Everyone follow that? So storms eventually end. That's life. Everything has come to pass, not to stay. So the storms of your life have come to pass, not to stay. And so the storm can simply go faster than you think. It can go way faster than you think, and that's a miracle. Your next beautiful, magnificent miracle can come faster than you think. And so we can move forward at light speed because the miraculous can handle that. In the Star Wars movies, I know there's like 423 of them now, and it's hard to keep track of which one was supposed to be first, but the first one filmed, the original Star Wars movie that was famous, and I was a kid and we went to the drive-in and I got freaked out watching this thing. It was the coolest thing ever. I totally decided to be a Jedi. Did anyone as a kid watch these super movies and say, oh, I'm totally a Jedi, or I'm a superhero, or whatever? Totally. So I was fascinated by it. It really helped me in my spirituality. I just thought the Force, you know, in the Star Wars movie is a perfect representation of divine love, the power of the universe. So then, so I loved it. And in the Star Wars movies, in the first one it happened, and it happens in every Star Wars movie. First of all, this scene happens in every movie. Number 2, I believe the exact same ship is in every movie, which is the Millennium Falcon, which in the first movie, again, who cares about the order, was supposed to be a bit of an old ride. And in every movie, they get into a laser fight with other spaceships, right? So they're in space, and these other spaceships are trying to kill them, and they're trying to shoot down the other spaceships. And then someone says to the captain, Han Solo or whoever, they say, you've got to get us out of here, you've got to get us out of here, they're going to kill us, we've got to jump to light speed. So when they say that, the captain, whoever's the captain of that movie, says, okay, but I have to calculate the route. And the person whining will say, you don't have time to calculate. And they said, listen, Junior, when you're going at light speed, you don't have time to turn. I have to make sure there's a straight shot where we're not going to go into a star or something for a long distance. I have to calculate the distance to make sure I can go that fast without being able to steer. Put up your hand if you understand what I just said. When you're at light speed, you better have a straight path. And in the same way, jumping to light speed requires some prep, and I want you to be prepped. So one of the ideas is having clear vision, so write that down. One of the ideas is a clear, compelling vision. No matter how perfect your vision is, the actual plan is better. So don't worry about it, it's not going to go the way you expect, it's going to be better. Who's okay with that? No matter how good your plan is, the reality is better. You cannot outdo divine. Infinite intelligence will always make it cooler. So come up with the very best plan you can. What you're looking for, write this down, is a clear, compelling vision. Clear as in clarity. I know what I want. I want a blue Bentley if I want it. Compelling. It's got to be something that turns me on. Something that I'm like, ooh, yeah. Something that's like, yes, 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 yes. So it's got to have some emotional juice in it. So if you're like, yes, I have my vision, I would say, no, you don't. No. Trade up quick. If it doesn't freak you out a little bit, it's not as big as it could be. Who's with me? If it doesn't freak you out a bit, you're not thinking as big as you could. Now some people say, I'm going to have like $100 gajillion. Okay, first of all, that's not a real thing. Second of all, you have no comprehension of what that would mean. It's like the kids in the playground. One kid having a chocolate bar, and the other kid says, oh, can I have that chocolate bar? The kid's like, no, it's my chocolate bar. The other kid says, I'll give you $1 million for the chocolate bar. The kid says, no. And the other kid says, I'll give you $5 for the chocolate bar. He says, oh, okay. So why did he say yes to the $5? Because it's real. So you might write giant goals that don't turn you on, because you don't believe in them. Put up your hand if you follow what I just said. So you can write cajillion. And by the way, I think that's funny, and I say go for it, if there was such a thing. But if you're not emotionally attached to it, it's just a number. And it's not that it turns me on, it's that it turns you on. Do you follow what I'm saying? Things that turn me on wouldn't turn you on. Like I'm like, oh, the ultimate dream is X, and you're like, dude, that's nothing, that's nothing. Why would you aim at something so low? It matters to me. And yours better matter to you. Like, I'm going to have 2 big dogs. Like, there's no way I'm not going to live without 2 big dogs. I mean, wrestle them size dogs. I mean, the kind of dogs that I can get down on the floor and they outweigh me. I wrestle big dogs. Why? I don't know, and I don't care. I love big dogs. You might say, I don't like big dogs. So get your own dream. But it better matter to you. Can I get an amen on this? Clear, compelling. So clarity and emotionally provocative. Okay, clear, compelling vision that you can believe in. It has to be believable to you, not the cajillions, but something you can believe in, the $5, whatever. And you feel free to pursue, which means you don't feel it's immoral. This is the kind of dream you want to create clarity around. We're going to continue over the next few days, but clear, compelling vision you believe in and feel free to pursue. That will not let you settle for less. So that's step 1 on meditation 2. The next thing I want to talk about is not just taking up a vision, but what you're letting go of. You've heard this story, at least you've heard the end of the story, but I'll tell you the beginning of the story. This very wealthy, powerful young man who's been a super success at everything in this far-off land. He's super successful in popularity, in school, in money, in business, in politics, and he's just beating everyone at everything. And he's bored. And he said, like, what else is there on this planet to master? And then he sees the monks and so on. He says, wow, I want to be a spiritual master as well. And so he asks, who's the greatest master to teach me? And they said, it would be master whatever. And he's on this mountaintop, but to get there is virtually impossible. And he says, I can do it. So he goes on the quest to get to the mountaintop, and he encounters tragedy and tragedy and tragedy. He survives it. He finally makes it to the top of the mountain, and there is the master sitting very zen-like in front of tea. And he approaches the master and he says, "Master, my name is whatever, impressive guy. And I've accomplished this and this and this and this, and I'm here now to master spirituality." And as he's talking, the master simply grabs a teacup and hands it to the young, impressive man and starts pouring tea while he's telling the master how impressive he is. And he keeps pouring, and now you've heard this part of the story where he pours and pours and pours, and he keeps pouring and it's spilling out all over the guy's hand, and the guy says, "It's full, it's full, it's full." And the master says, "Yes, it's impossible to add to a cup which is already full. Leave now and come back when your cup is empty." If you already have everything figured out, why are you here? If you're not open to learn, why are you here? If you're not open to grow, if you're not open, what you know is in the way of what you want to know. The beliefs that got you here will now keep you here. Without leveling up with new vision, new openness, new awareness, I won't have a new experience. And so sometimes letting go is required to take up. And letting go is going to be a major part of this chapter, this meditation, letting go. I want you to master letting go and saying, "What do I know? I used to think I couldn't read, but now I can." That's what I find. I could not read. I was functionally illiterate. Now I'm not. What changed? My belief. And so to be open, who here is willing to be wrong about all your limitations and find out you're actually limitless? Put up your hand if you're open to say, "Crap, I was wrong. Turns out I'm a freaking genius. Turns out I'm a money magnet. Turns out I'm the sexiest person alive. Turns out this is easy for me. Turns out I was made to lead the world." Who's willing to be wrong about the negatives to be right about the positives? And there's a great saying which is, if you argue for your weaknesses, you get to keep them. Have you ever tried to help someone? You say, "Well, you know what you could do." "Yeah, but I mean, I can't do this." Who knows what I'm talking about? No matter, they have 3 problems for every solution. They can outdo you to death. Until you realize they're really happy being miserable. They'd be depressed if they weren't miserable. Or miserable if they weren't depressed. They are so addicted to that negative energy, leave them alone. Your job is shine your light until they're attracted to it. Can I get an amen? Shine your light until they want some. Don't be a judge, be a light. So now, what is it you might want to let go of? You might have some limiting beliefs. Who here might have had some limiting beliefs about yourself in the past? I'm not able, I'm not whatever, I can't, Some of you will have, if I wasn't a woman, maybe it would be easier. If I wasn't a black woman, how's that? If I wasn't bald for me, if I didn't have learning disabilities, or do you understand we all have great excuses that aren't serving us? Who's willing to drop it and say, turns out, being me was the best thing ever. I'm perfect for my perfect dream life. All of my limitations, all of my hindrances, all of my drama and trauma, it was all perfect. It was all a setup for my best possible life. Praise and thank you. So there's some things that you might want to let go of. So let's dig in. Page 8, is that right? I don't even look at this book very much, do I? Nope, not page 8 here. I'm on page 9, is that right?
Page 9.
Jumping to light speed. Yep, okay. Just ignore that. So here we are. Number 1, you're a co-creator. So I want you to know that you are a co-creator with divine in this time-space continuum. So the spirit world is where all knowing exists, right? And creativity and compassion come from, all the love and creative energy of the universe. In this physical experience, everything is energy. Well then, what is an idea? An idea, is it a thing or not a thing? Is an idea a thing or not a thing? Type into the chat, is an idea a thing or is it not a thing? What is an idea? Thing or no thing? Let's get some votes. Hey, we should learn how to do polls and stuff in here. There's polling technical stuff here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try and do a poll. Watch us play. Let's see if we can't do a poll. I'm looking at the screen, but Augustine is using a Spanish laptop, so I'm trying to look at the screen to see what he's trying to pull up. But in fairness, if it was English, I wouldn't understand any of this tech stuff either. We can do a poll? This is so much fun.
No.
No, we can't?
But I will find out.
We'll figure it out. But right now, it's a thing, it's not a thing, it's energy, it's a thing, it's not a thing. Well, aren't we conclusive? Okay. So it is a thing, but maybe not a thing. And here's what I mean by it's a thing, but maybe not a thing. In the quantum physics world, right, in the subatomic level, what they know is subatomic particles are not always particles. Sometimes they're things, sometimes they're not things. Sometimes they're waves. So a wave is not a thing, but it's still a thing. Who understands what I'm saying? It's not a thing, but it's a thing. And so that's why it's a tricky question. It's not a thing, but it is still a thing. So ideas are like that. An idea is a thing, but not a thing. And just imagine that. Okay, let me do this. Is it in here? Okay, I don't think I normally teach this here. So you're probably familiar with the second law of thermodynamics. I'm sure everyone is. It's called entropy. And entropy means energy is in a perpetual. Okay, energy is in a perpetual state of dispersion. So energy, so if think about it like a perfume in a bottle. So if this is a bottle of perfume with some sexy little thing on the bottom, and then they open up the cap, the perfume in the bottle will leave until the whole room is filled with the smell of the perfume. You follow that? So it disperses from high concentration to low concentration. This is the second law of thermodynamics. So what we know is energy. The universe is made up of energy. Energy is in a perpetual state of vibration. It always is, always has been, always will be. And energy is in a perpetual state of dispersion, which means energy is always moving farther apart from itself. It's always in expansion. That's why the universe is in expansion. Now it's in rapid expansion, and they're curious what that means. But everything, energy is in expansion or dispersion. So dispersion doesn't necessarily mean good. In fact, that means all things are moving towards disorder or disintegration. So all things disintegrate. From integration to disintegration. So entropy means all things are falling apart, which means you're either so the only thing that goes the other way is life or birth. So creation and disintegration are the two powers. So you're either being created or destroyed at all times. So creation, so entropy says energy moves apart. Creation organizes energy, brings energy together. So it takes this energy and moves it into an energy ball. So instead of the entropy, which says everything moves apart, an idea, a thought, brings energy together. Can you see how you're now doing the opposite of the universal flow of energy? Energy disperses, we bring it back together through creation. And when we think about the fact that we can procreate and babies are born, this is like, oh my goodness, this is taking energy into a miraculous new thing. And then at a certain age, if we're not being created, we begin to disintegrate. Put up your hand if you know that some people get old before their time. Some people, they're 27 and they're done. And other people are 90 and they're just getting going. They're just kids in the playground. So your age is not about your body, it's more about are you being born or are you dying? So creation organizes energy. So you are either being created or destroyed at all times. Are you being created or destroyed at all times? You're being born or you're dying. And so it's your choice. If you're not being created, you're being disintegrated. So always be in a growth phase. Always be working on. Always be leaning in and learning. Constantly taking your life to the next level. Mastering this skill and then that skill. I need to learn salsa dancing, bachata, merengue. You should see, I was speaking mine. He's got definitely blues as a kid. I want to master that. I want to speak fluent Spanish. I want to master so many things. And so I'm so excited. I've got this whole list of things I intend to master. I'm not going to run out of things to grow with. Do you understand the importance of that? Have a never-ending list of things you're looking forward to mastering. And write this down. I can learn anything. Like, stop with this, oh, I'm not one of those technical people. I'm not yet, because I don't give a crap. The moment I care, I'll learn it. I don't believe anyone's smarter than me. I believe I can learn anything anyone can learn. Who's willing to start thinking that way about yourself? There's nothing that anyone can learn that I can't learn. I'm not willing to buy into any negative crap about myself. If it can be learned, it can be learned by me. Period. I can master any skill, I can learn any information. Doesn't mean I'm going to play in the NBA. There are some limits on things. But if I cared enough, I could learn anything. I'm just prioritizing gold or gold, or gold or gold, or what magnificent thing am I going to do next? Be in growth. You got it? Stay in birth process. Always be learning, always be growing, always be in creation. Otherwise, you default into entropy.
ABL.
What's that?
Always be learning. ABL.
ABL. Always be learning. Never ending. Never ending. Yes, thank you, Augustine. And you are a co-creator. So you were created, yes, and you're a co-creator through your ideas. Because thoughts are things. They're kind of things. They're not a thing, but they're kind of a thing. But they're not nothing. And as we bring these ideas together, we're going to show you how to turn this little idea into an enterprise. How to turn this idea into a resort, how to turn this idea into a billion-dollar business, how to turn this idea into an entirely new career, turn this idea into the world's greatest love story. Are you digging this? You can take these little energy balls and we're going to show you step by step how to turn this into a fully miraculous manifestation. Because you're a co-creator. No building was built without a human being doing this process. No car was built, no TV was invented. Nothing that has been created without a co-creator. And you are made to be a co-creator. Good news? So thoughts are made for creation, not disintegration. So therefore, negative thoughts are an abuse of our power. So write that down. Negative thoughts are abuse of our power. So thoughts become things as they get bigger, and we're going to get deeper into this, so I'm not going to jump ahead into tomorrow's lessons. Tomorrow's lessons. But what I want to do now is I want to move into the next, which is how does a thought become a belief? So thoughts are things, and thoughts become beliefs with a feeling, write this down, of confidence. And I really want you to get the power of a belief. Beliefs change everything. Beliefs are borderline supernatural. Beliefs are like blocks in the brain, building blocks or stumbling blocks, so choose wisely. And we're going to get into this. Beliefs are like blocks in the brain, building blocks or stumbling blocks, so choose wisely. My favorite example of the power of beliefs comes from Maxwell Maltz's Psycho-Cybernetics, a classic book. And in that book, he talked about this study that was done with a muscle man, a power lifter, right? A person who could lift hundreds of pounds, right? Very powerful man. And he participated in this, he was put into a hypnotic state, and he experienced post-hypnotic suggestions. So what happened was the hypnotist had this muscle man, a big powerful man, said, put your hand on the table. Can you see this table? You can see my table, right? If I do this, can you see the table on the screen?
Yes.
You can see my hand on the table, yeah? Okay, so he had the muscle man put his hand on the table. So in hypnosis, the man just put his hand on the table. And then the hypnotist said, your hand is 500 pounds. Your hand is 500 pounds. And the person in the hypnotic state believes it. It then says, try and lift your hand off of that table. And he went to lift his hand off the table. He's like, this is crazy. This is crazy. He was like, is it glued? And he kept trying. And the hypnotist said, lift your hand. What's wrong with you? Just lift your hand. And the guy's trying to lift his hand. Now, you have to understand, this is a power lifter, a man who understands physical dynamics and strength and so on. And his hand was on this table, and the man is now like trying to rip his arm off the table. He's now, the veins are popping, and he's going to hurt himself. He's going to hurt himself. So they stop the experiment. Now, please type into the chat, what kept his hand on that table? What kept his hand on the table? Because he was trying. Clearly he was trying. He's strong. He was committed. They had to stop the experiment so he didn't hurt himself. Please type into the chat, what kept his hand on the table? Belief that it weighed 500 pounds. Unconscious belief is belief. Belief. Energy. Take a shot at that. Yeah, why not energy? Belief, yep. Okay. Is belief. Subconscious mind. Okay, beautiful. Now, I would like you to have your subconscious mind keep your hand on the table. How is it going to do that? It jumps out of your body and sits on your hand? No, your subconscious mind doesn't keep your hand on the table. Let's think about it from a very physical world. The only thing that could keep his hand on that table was his own muscles. But he was trying to lift it. This is one of the biggest points you're going to hear today. Are you ready? I want you to be ready for this. His muscles kept his hand on the table even though his other muscles were trying to lift his hand. He was at war with himself. And this is your story so far. This is such a huge aha. Please allow this to settle in. It is not the government, not your mother, not your brother, not your cousin, not your boss, not your spouse. No one in this world could stop you from your dream life except you. And you would say, I would never do that to myself. Well, this muscle man wouldn't hurt himself either, but he quote unquote couldn't lift his hand. Why? Because of a belief. So please understand the power of the beliefs. He believed he couldn't, and so it became true. And while many muscles in his body were working on lifting it, other muscles of his body were working at least equally hard, if not harder, to keep it on the table. And please break this down. He made zero conscious effort to keep his hand on the table. It was like there was an enemy within. Consciously, all of his muscles were being used to lift it. But his non-conscious mind would not let him lift it because it believed it was impossible. The moment they lift the hypnotic suggestion, he lifted up his hand. It was the silliest thing. There was no problem with the hand, there was only a problem with belief. Now, let me ask you a very pointed question. Would you not agree with me that sometimes it seems there's some mystical force keeping you from your dreams? Put up your hand if you're like, there's some mystical force that burns good relationships, some mystical force that makes me lose my money, or makes me attract bad people, some mystical force. Well, my friends, it's not so mystical, it's your own non-conscious mind that's created and maintained that reality. Your beliefs are that powerful. You're pushing and pulling on the doors at the same time. It's not that you're not powerful, it's that you're using your power against yourself. You're saying, I have to be rich and I have to stay poor. I have to be rich, but rich people are evil. It's evil to be poor, but it's evil to be rich. But I have to try. Do you understand all these stories? When we calm down and just do what makes sense, we unlock our miracles. Calming down and releasing the noise is a secret to breaking through. So thoughts plus the feeling of confidence produces a belief, and a belief can control your entire life. And you likely have beliefs rattling around unconsciously that have been keeping you from a lot. Now, I also want to release the tension and say, whatever it is, it's perfect now because you weren't supposed to be anywhere other than here today, and now it's time to unlock. Are we good? So, just because it sounds like I'm being negative, I'm only being negative to make the point, but if you're here now, it's perfect because it got you here. And now it's time to say, my hand does not weigh 500 pounds. It's time to say, I am beautiful. It's time to say, I am powerful. It's time to say, I am smart. It is time to say that divine digs me. It's time to say, I'm here to make a difference. It's time to allow the truth to come back. And so if you've had negative beliefs, today's the day we're letting go. So it's not bad that it happened, it's perfect because it got you here. But know the power of beliefs. Next, there's perceptions. Perceptions that are unchallenged have the power of beliefs. So write that down. Unchallenged perceptions have the power of beliefs. Now, a belief is normally done through thoughts, built on thoughts, combined with research, until a person believes. So thoughts build, and then finally confidence is achieved, and then it turns into a belief. But perceptions can sneak into the power of belief without being challenged or developed. And that's, this is close to what's called a thought virus. So write this down, thought virus. You can just listen to a song that says something stupid and you can believe it. And you can watch a movie and it says something stupid and you believe it. Like, all accountants are left-handed. And you're like, okay, all accountants are left-handed. No, they're not. But, like, the biggest tragedy I've ever, maybe there's 100 times worse, but one that really bothered me was when I was a kid. I saw this movie, someone watched it in my house and I was stuck there, called Love Story. Anyone see the movie Love Story? And the beautiful woman in the movie, she says, love is never having to say you're sorry. And I'm like, well, isn't that a recipe to ruin every marriage? Dude, say sorry. Everybody say sorry. It's essential to make peace and to say, I blew that. Please bring me back. Please forgive me. We all require grace. So that line in that movie has probably caused a ton of damage in the world, all because it was said by a movie star in an emotionally provocative way in the movie, and you may have just believed, oh, love means never having to say your story. That's bullcrap. Complete, total, hogwash bullcrap. But it snuck in because it was in a movie and we all believe whatever. If that movie writer said it, it must be true. No, it's not true. It's bull. It's bull. So perceptions, without being challenged, have the power of beliefs. So you can ask yourself, why do I think that? Why do I believe that? Who said so? Where did I get this data? Who can back this up? Why would anyone think that way? Challenge perceptions, challenge your thoughts, challenge your beliefs, until you know that this is the highest, most loving truth that I can find. Then you're in a good place. Now, when it comes to words like paradigms and constructs, they're simply large sets of thoughts and beliefs and perceptions combined. So the world is flat or the world is round. That is a paradigm, a whole construct of beliefs. Like it's based on a whole bunch of perceptions. So then a construct they can be used interchangeably, but a construct is often a model created to explain that which is not visual, that we cannot show you or cannot be proven in a physical sense. So a lot of the stuff that's being done with quantum physics, quantum mechanics, is being done with models and mechanisms to try and explain the inexplicable. And so we create constructs to explain, and the construct holds as long as it holds. But get this, and please write this down. Facts are forever in pursuit of truth. So if you ask a scientist what's the truth, a wise and good scientist would say, we don't deal in truth, ask the preacher. We deal in facts. Facts come and go. The current best facts we have are these, and someday we might find out that there are better facts. So facts are temporary, truth is eternal. And we seek truth here. And we seek to speak truth in love. Facts are great while they last. And constructs and paradigms are just the best ideas that we have. They're sets of thoughts and beliefs and perceptions that form an idea that we can work with temporarily. The reason why I bring all of this up is you'll want to take over management of your mind and to say, if I have anything in me that's keeping me from taking action in love with peace, joy, and confidence, it's probably not truth and it's probably not going to stay. Good and good? Anything that hinders my flow in love is doomed. All right. Are we okay?
Oh, the raft.
The raft, yeah. Time for the raft. So I would like you now to draw on your piece of paper just space in your workbook for this. There you are. Page 10. Page 10. In that space, I want you to draw a raft. And I want it to be the world's biggest raft, like super long logs. Biggest raft ever made. Like giant raft, right? Giant raft. And what I want you to assume, believe, make believe with me is that in these boxes, these little boxes, which are the space between the logs, right? There's a log, and then between the logs, there's this space. Okay? These spaces. And I want you to imagine that your raft that you just drew has a grand total of 360 spaces. And in each one of these spaces, you have what's called an outboard motor. Now, this is one of my finest of artistic challenges, but there's the engine, and then there's a stick that goes down, and down here you've got this thing that looks like this. It might also look like a mutant flower, but it's actually an outboard motor. You gotta have some imagination. All right. So in these blocks, Every single one of these 360 spaces has a motor in it. If you got it, say I got it. Now, what I want you to know about this log is that these motors are not aiming in the same direction. In fact, they're all aiming in a different direction, meaning that your engines are working against each other, and you have 360 engines aiming in 360 degrees, and no matter how powerful your engines and no matter how much you turn up the heat, you're going where? People say to me all the time, I'm trying. Yay, you. Who's a big boy? You tried. The world doesn't pay for trying. We don't get paid for effort. The world doesn't change because I tried. The question is, am I progressing? Am I producing? Am I profitably solving problems? Am I getting it done? Like, I could go to the gym and just do everything wrong. You know that you can learn about target heart rate, for those of you high intensity interval training maybe, resistance training with a proper workout that has proper form and proper numbers, or you can just do it wrong, go in there and kill yourself and not produce any positive results. Effort is not the point. Results are the point. Efficiency is the point. And if my engines are working against each other, where am I going in life? Now, when you get in front of a motivational speaker, these are going, yeah, and you crank all your engines, and you go nowhere faster. But all the effort in the world isn't going to change it until you get your non-conscious mind to stop stopping you and get all your jets moving in the right direction. Can I get an amen on this? Get on your own team. Now, the beautiful thing, once you get all your jets working together, you can go quote unquote in a wrong direction and learn really fast and then turn and go in the right direction. But you can sit here and go nowhere forever and never learn anything. So play without fear, go for it. But go in one direction, find out, go in another direction, find out. Think of it this way, divine will guide your movement, just get into motion. And this is how you can do that. And this is where we want to get rid of those disempowering beliefs. Remember, strength in the physical world is measured by how much you can lift up. Strength in the spiritual world is measured by how much you can let go. Yeah, I can feel the time is really flowing. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to tell you this about disempowering beliefs. Is it okay, can you accept that in the past you may have believed things about yourself that were unloving? Is that okay? Just to face that fact? In the past, I may have thought things about myself that were unloving. In the past, I may have thought of other people in ways that were unloving. In the past, I may have felt like life was unfair. In the past, I may have felt some things were impossible. In the past, I may have. And just understand, you may have an ocean of disempowering beliefs. And you don't have to be mad at yourself for that. Say, in the past, I may have. And what I'm encouraging you to do is fill your brain with the best, and there's no room for the rest. When you pound into your brain and your non-conscious mind these positive, life-giving, love-infused messages of everything is perfect and everything is improved, right? I am a creative and compassionate being currently existing in this physical form. I'm infinitely valuable, exquisitely unique. I am perfect in my personhood. My natural state is in euphoric connection to divine love and in loving connection to all living things, and I love others as I love myself. Everything is perfect, everything is improving. I'm not here just to make it, I'm here to make it better. I'm living my perfect dream life now. I'm living on purpose and I am on schedule. How much of an impact do you think that has on your heart, mind, soul, and your day? To talk to yourself in beautiful, loving ways. So fill your life with the best, and there's no room for the rest. And you keep on speaking these truths and feeling these truths until the calmness comes over you. And then what happens is all of these currents of, so there's the river, and then there's these undercurrents of possible negative self-talk or thought viruses that are rattling around in there. As you filled your life with the purity, it just starts getting rid of them. We're going to go farther on how we can clean up all of our negative energy. But for right now, I simply want you to say, in the past, I may have thought X negative thing, and now I know, and insert something positive. Is that okay for this moment? In the past, I may have thought, felt, or believed, and now, we just let it go. We don't have to be mad at ourselves. We don't have to be mad at the person who gave us the bad ideas. Just let it go. It is what it is. It got me here. It's perfect. And now. Strength in the physical world is measured by how much you can lift up. Strength in the spiritual world is measured by how much you can let go. It's time to let go. Now I'm going to move into a great finale for the day. Let's just talk about forgiveness. Is it possible that in your life, there have been circumstances that were unfair, unjust, uncool, and downright evil? Is it possible that you've experienced dramas and traumas that one would say should not happen to people? Put up your hand if you've experienced some drama and some trauma. And you'd say, that crap is evil. That should not have happened. Kids should be safe. I should be safe. People should be kinder. I'm to blame too. Put up your hand if who can say, I've done some nasty, imperfect things. I have been thoughtless in I've been unkind, I've been unloving, I've blown it, I've made mistakes. We're all guilty. Would you agree? We're all guilty. Nobody's righteous. We've all blown it. And everyone around us has blown it. And if we obsess over the fact that some people in our lives really sucked, then you're just obsessing over negative energy and you're attracting more of it. And if you're not going to forgive yourself, please understand, if you hold negative energy, a sin from somebody else or a sin from yourself, I really want you to hear this. That negative energy inside of you festers. And that negative energy inside of you grows. Anger, bitterness, resentment, hatred. It's like drinking poison hoping the other person dies. And as long as it's inside of you, it's growing and it's attracting more of that behavior. And as long as it's in you, it's making you more like that. An angry person who thinks about angry things becomes more of a what? Angry person. So my friends, it's time to forgive. Who's ready to let this crap go so that you can be supernatural? You want to be supernatural? We got to drop some crap, my friends. So please write this down. Nobody deserves forgiveness. This has nothing to do with deserve. I don't deserve forgiveness. You don't deserve forgiveness. They don't deserve forgiveness. That's not the question. And in a sense, please understand, you cannot forgive their sins. Their sins are between themselves, their soul, and their maker, maybe, but it's none of your business. And you might say, it is my business, they hurt me. Yeah. But it's over now. And the only thing that's keeping it alive is you. Someone cuts you off in traffic, that can ruin your day. You can get into a bad mood and cause arguments and be in negative energy all day, ruin your day. Maybe the person who cut you off didn't even see you. They had a great day. Do you understand the injustice of this crap? They took the moment you gave them your day. Why would you give them your whole day? They don't deserve that. So here's my strong suggestion. Let it go. Become a master of forgiveness. Quick, easy grace. It is what it is. And I'll tell you why it's so important. Who would you say is the toughest person to forgive? Who do you hold the most against? Would you agree it's yourself? Who here would say, I have a lot of stuff to forgive? So, I want you to now understand the principle that my guru dad, Les Brown, introduced to me. He said, James, you're attacking the you of today for sins of the you of yesterday. That person is gone. You're now accusing an innocent man. Isn't that a powerful idea? He said, the James of yesterday is gone, ceased to exist. The James of today is innocent. And so all I can do is accuse an innocent man by holding a grudge against myself. Now again, let's just remember, write it down, nobody deserves forgiveness. I'm not saying it's justice. It is not justice. There is no justice in this planet, in this time-space continuum. This is not a just or fair universe. It just isn't. This is a universe based on grace. So the question is not, is it just to forgive me? The question is, do I want to be the best person I can be? And if you want to be the best person you can be, it's essential you let go of all the poison that's inside. Are you following what I'm saying? It's for my sake I want you to forgive yourself. Because with that crap in you, you can be a crappy person. You don't deserve forgiveness, but we deserve a better you. Divine deserves a better you. And so to move forward as the best you, it must be a you free of all this negative energy. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Here's my strong suggestion. In the 30-day miracle challenge, we do this with a really clear discipline. But I'm going to give you some steps here, okay, my friends? I'm encouraging you to list everything for which you might be holding negative energy. So you're going to write, I may have in the past, we always start like that. I may have in the past, we're not owning it into the future. I may have in the past held negative energy, hatred, bitterness, anger, all that kind of stuff, negative energy related to, and then you just list it. All the crappy things that have happened in your life, all the things that you've messed up, everything that you can think of right now that's crappy or negative or whatever, and we'll do this after class, not now, but I want you to take a real strong, honest look at what kind of crap have I been holding into my body, because it's toxicity, and you're attracting more of it, and you're becoming more like it. So you'll want to get rid of everything that's less than love, everything less than good and kind and happy and healthy, and so we want to release. So the first thing we do is we list, in the past, I may have in the past held negative energy related to. You can list all the people in your life, past marriages, past failures of your own, and you list as much as you can tolerate. Now this is a paper you're going to be burning, so just write it on a piece of paper that no one is going to see, and you're not going to be keeping for long. But that's step one. So step one, you create your list. Number two, choose to forgive. But remember, forgiveness is not justice. Right? It doesn't mean it's okay. It's not okay. It shouldn't have happened. You shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have failed to do that. I'm going to tell you a really horrific one right now. I don't think I've ever told anyone. This is one of my most embarrassing moments. Would that help you just to realize how human we all are? If I tell you a really horrible moment in my life? I'll tell you what happened. I went into a coffee shop in Canada. Just a normal day. I went into this coffee shop. And I don't know if I was buying for me or somebody else. It doesn't really matter. But I was in this line. And this man and this young woman came in. And they seemed to be very drunk and or very stoned on drugs. And I believe it was both. Okay? So an older guy, younger woman. I would say the woman is, I don't know, I'll just say 20. And they come in and they're laughing and they're loud and they're boisterous and they're whatever. And then she gets in line and he says, I'm going to the jump. So he goes to the washroom and she's standing in line And she's like, like all you bunch of losers, I'm having a party, and like that kind of energy. And then her entire state changed. And she looked at me like, save me. Like, save me, something's wrong here. Like, I don't know if she was kidnapped, I don't know what's going on, but she looked at me and her eyes were saying, save me. And I had no idea what to do. I'm looking around, does anyone know what to do? Like, this was a long time ago, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and I don't know what to do. I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything, I didn't talk to her, and I didn't help. And that's haunted me ever since that day. And I don't know what happened to her. Like, do you understand? Like, how can I feel to be a human? Like, she went from party to save me. Somebody save me. Why did she look at me? I don't know. Why nobody else? I don't know. And why did I panic and not do anything? I don't know. All I know is that haunted me. And I swore I would never be a coward again. But that was a lesson. Maybe she wasn't a real person, maybe she was an angel sent to teach me a lesson. I can't know. All I can do is forgive myself and walk away with nothing but wisdom. And be a better man. Can I get an amen on this? The fact that I blew it yesterday should only be wisdom so I don't blow it tomorrow. I can't stay in yesterday beating myself up. I can't go back there. I can't find her. All I can do is say, James, never again. And then I can say, well, maybe God, maybe that wasn't a real person. Maybe it was all a figment of my imagination and God brought me a lesson and it was an angel. Or maybe it was a real person and someone else helped. I don't know. All I know is I can't hold on to that. That doesn't make me a better man today. The wisdom makes me a better man, but not the negative energy. Are you following now? So you create your list. Second, you choose to forgive. Choose to forgive yourself and everyone else, and nobody deserves forgiveness. So don't tell me they don't deserve it. Don't tell me I don't deserve it. I know. None of us do. And then next, you write a forgiveness letter for each. And your forgiveness letters must contain all the poison. You pour the poison into the letter. How do you spell pour? P-O-U-R? Pour. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about real physical paper, letter, and pen. Now, you're not going to send it to anyone. This is a spiritual exercise for you. This is nobody's business. No one's to see it. No one's to read it. You're not going to send it. You're just going to do this exercise. So you create a list of all the negative energy that you might be hosting. Second, you choose to let it all go. Third, you write all the poison onto the paper. And you don't minimize it. You don't say, like, let's say you're forgiving someone for something bad. You don't write in the letter, it's no big deal, or it's okay. Those are lies. It is a big deal, it's not okay, it was horrible and evil and wrong, and I hated it. So put all the poison in there, don't minimize it. And this is not a court of law. What if you're wrong? What if they didn't even mean it? What if, it doesn't matter, because this is an exercise for you and your spiritual health. So this is not a court of law, you're not trying to prove you're right. What you're trying to do is be free of the negative energy. So you write all the poison onto the page. I think you did on purpose, I think you're mean, I think you should have known better, I think yada yada, I feel this, I hate it. Then once you put all the poison onto the paper, then you say, I forgive you. All the poison plus I forgive you. Now what I tend to do, you might choose to do this, I hope and pray all the very best for you. That's going to really hurt. Some people say, they have trouble with the 30-day miracle challenge prayer because we pray, God, please bless all living things today. with your love, your grace, and your abundance. And some people said, I couldn't do that because there's some people on this planet, I didn't want them to experience love, grace, and abundance. I wanted them to suffer. And so when you can say, I hope, pray, all the very, very best for you, that is a full heart conclusion on the matter. We got that? If you can say, I sincerely hope and pray all the very best for you, you've turned the corner. Now, if someone has multiple aggression, multiple sins or whatever, you can put them all into one letter for that person. But what you don't do is write a group letter to everybody always. No, they're all individual letters for yourself included. Okay? Individual, including yourself. Now, it doesn't mean you have to write a letter to yourself for all of your sins. That might take a while. But you can forgive all of your sins in one letter. But what I'm asking you to do is get on your own side, because otherwise, unconsciously, you can have self-sabotage, not allowing yourself to be happy or loved or successful because you don't feel worthy, because you're holding this grudge against yourself. This frees you to your highest and best. Okay, my friends? I want to pull you back on the screen as we wrap. I know I went a little bit over, but I want to pull you back on the screen. Jump on the screen if you would for me, please, so we can all say hello to each other. It's just after 4 o'clock now. Hello, my dear friends. Look at you, bright and shiny. How are you doing? Has this been a good day? Okay, I know we worked hard, and I hope you can accept that I don't give you tough jobs like this. I don't talk about yucky stuff because I'm insensitive. It's actually because I'm sensitive that I'm not going to rob you of the truth that if you're holding in negative energy, it can affect you. So this is heart surgery, right? But I encourage you with all of my heart to do the tough business and get rid of this stuff. Just get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be wrapping today officially now. We're going to turn off, if YouTube is still there, we're going to turn off YouTube. This is a private Q&A for our clientele. And again, for those of you on YouTube, if you'd like to join this officially, get your workbook, get your posters, get your connection, a VIP ticket, you get the recordings, connect with all these people all over the world. We'd be honored to have you join us officially inside of our Zoom. And so the way to do that is simply go to go.jamesmcneil.com/insider, and you can buy a $9 ticket. And then if you want to upgrade to the other one, the 97, feel free to do that. But $9 gets you into our Zoom.
Yeah, click the link below. We're going to put in the description.
There, that's easy for you YouTubers. All right, love, joy, and peace. Thank you for joining us. That was fun to have you join us. We appreciate you. Everyone on the screen, send some love to our YouTube friends. We're thrilled that you're able to join us and get some benefit out of our beautiful community.